It's in fact really about people. It's kind of not about partners and companies and names and organizations. And the people who really count are the people who benefit from the things we do. And we've actually run some fantastic programs over the years. We've got CoachLab, we've got our CPD program, we've got internships, and we are in fact joined here by lots of those beneficiaries, lots of people who've been in our programs and have changed their lives by the things we do. And to me, that's really what kind of gets me up in the morning, to know that there are people whose lives will be different because of what we're doing. So we could have had many of them standing up here and speaking, but actually I would like just one of them, and that's actually Nomonde, who was part of the CoachLab in 2011, to come up and say a few words.
Wow. Evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure being here. Thank you so much for affording me the opportunity. Look at that picture, and I took that, it must have been 2012, believe it or not, and it's amazing how time flies. And it's been incredible to just listen to some of the speakers about what the intention was behind creating, a platform and incubation like CoachLab JCSE. And having been a part of it, I toiled and tossed and turned. What do I say? How do I share the experience and the perspective from a student, from someone who was part of it, from being a product of this? And I think the way I could summarize it was threefold. The first bit was that, when you're part of something this incredible, it truly does prepare you and equip you for the workplace. Because a lot of the times as a student, you kind of feel like, well, I've got the theoretical knowledge and, got that background and context, but you're not necessarily, you don't have that level of confidence. You feel like you can sort of like go in and anything kind of goes, But when you've been part of something like this, you have a reference point. You've been equipped with real skills. You've worked in a real project environment where you've got a real client, you've got a real project and deadline that you need to deliver on. And I mean, it's not a case study, it's not fictitious, it's real. And over and above the skills you've been given, you have the latitude and platform to actually apply those skills and test your ability to actually put together, the theoretical knowledge that you have in a real life environment, So that's, for me specifically, I did a BCom in IT management. So Annalise was very instrumental in, guiding those sort of requirements elicitation skills, communication, team, client, expectation management, team dynamics, documentation element, which is fantastic because by the time I got into the workplace, I could talk about something. I wasn't just a textbook and I was just like, yes, do everything. You kind of like, no, I've done something like this before. I know what the requirement is. There's a level of confidence that kind of like sets you up, which I think is very important when you get into the workplace. So I think the skills element, I must applaud. It was well planned from the beginning. Secondly, over and above the skills, was the person themselves, your ability to interact. And you're quite right, Prof. Barry, it's not necessarily just about, CoachLab and the clients. It's your ability to interact with people, because the reality is that you're going to be working with real individuals, whether on the client side, whether it's your team, whether it's your manager, and then how do you manage that? How do you interact with that? There's different personality types, I'm a bit of a feisty one at times, and it's difficult to sort of back down. I feel passionate about something. But I had to learn how to sort of like tame that and channel my personality and my views in a constructive way. And I think I learned that best at CoachLab, that, it's okay to disagree, it's okay to have different views, but it's how you communicate that to the next person. It's about getting us all on the same page, buying into a concept. I think those are soft skills that school doesn't necessarily like tell you explicitly. It's things you kind of have to experience for yourself, in order to have that ability to interact and navigate in your career, because first you're operational and tactical, then you're at managerial level where it's more about your soft skills and your ability to deal with people and influence people more than it is what you actually know and can do. So I think I was given that opportunity then, and I learned a lot about myself and the way I interact with people, and finally it was learning about me as Nomonde, the person. Because when you're at varsity, you have this idea in your mind that IT is about this, and work looks like that. And when you have those variables kind of like interact in one platform in place, you get to see if that resonates true for Nomonde. Is that what I'd really like to do? Is that where I see myself? Does it allow me to sort of express my capability while build me personally? And I found that I was able to learn a lot about myself, actually, coincidentally, through CoachLab than I ever would, I think, had I not had been afforded this platform. So it absolutely is a great investment. I have benefited tremendously, having worked different working environments, different types of projects, and I always refer to CoachLab as, where it all began, and I'm so grateful, and thank you so much, Prof, and I hope that, industry continues to buy into this and supports this initiative, and hold hands with CoachLab, because we definitely need more young people who are given this platform to just kind of mix the two together and not just think about, work as a place where you just render your services, but also apply yourself. And, especially in IT, there's so many opportunities. I mean, I couldn't think of anything better. So thank you so much. It was fantastic. And yeah, you're doing a great job. Round of applause.